And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Today we're taking a look at On the Underground. I've already reviewed On the Underground. It's a game I really love, but I reviewed it in its original form. This is a new version of the game from Ludi Creations that just came out, and the original version was the London Underground, which this one still has, but it also has the German Underground. You can put whatever side you want on your shelf to show it off. Really entertaining game here. So I'm kind of giving away what I think about the game to begin with, but this is a new production and the German map has some slightly different rules. So let's take a look at the London and Berlin maps here of On the Underground. There are two maps in this game, as I said, London and Berlin. Both maps use the same basic rules. At the beginning of the game, depending on the number of players, you're going to get a score token. So if it's a 4-player game or a 5-player, each player gets a token that shows 2 colors. If it's a 2-player game, each player gets one that's 4 colors. In a 3-player game, each person gets a token that is 3 colors. So for example, if I'm this person and I get this token, I'm going to get the black, the gray, and the white tracks, while another person might get the red, pink, and the orange tracks. Some tracks have 20 and others have 15. Everyone will get the same, and you'll put those in front of you. Those are the lines. You always have 2 lines, but you might have 3 or 4, depending if there's fewer players. There's going to be a passenger involved in this game, and this passenger is going to be moving around the subway map. He's going to start here, but he's going to move to different locations. There's going to be always 4 cards that are laid up here that show the locations that the passenger wants to go to. Now, when the passenger goes somewhere, this is a very lazy passenger, doesn't want to do any walking at all. He'll have to, there's no subway lines done, but they will always go to 1 yellow and 1 white, unless of course there's only one of each. If there's only whites, he would only go to 1 white, and if there's only yellows, he would only go to 1 yellow. But the yellows are express stations, so he would go to that first, then to one of the other stations. And the player whose turn it is going to decide if there's a choice as to which station that the passenger is going to go to. On a player's turn, they're going to have 4 actions. These actions can be building a subway on the board. You can build a subway anywhere you want. So I might decide to do this. 1, 2, 3. And since I'm blue, green, and brown, maybe I'll build one down here, a green one down here. Now, as you build these out there, if you build a subway line, connect it to one of these end stations, you'll score 2 points. And so I would take my marker here, the blue, brown, and green, and get 2 points. And I would get one of these tokens here. Now this is only half a token really. If I get 2 of these tokens in the future, I can branch off. See, blue, the next blue lines, I would have to continue moving the train along these spots. And each of these tracks here can hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different spots, but after that you can't hold anymore. But the blue, I couldn't go here and then go here and branch off unless I pay 2 of these tokens. And connecting to one of these end stations is a way to get a token. You can also use some of your 4 actions you have instead of laying track to take more of these tokens. So as you do this, you're going to be scoring points. Like I said, if you connect to one of these stations here, you're going to get 2 points and one of those tokens. If you connect to a blue station on the board here, you get just a straight up point. If you connect these tokens, which are randomly placed on the board, so let's say I build my brown subway line here, and do it so that I connect these 2 food tokens, they're the exact same, then I'm going to score 3 points. So you're going to get points as this goes on, but you're also going to get points because the passenger is going to move. So the passenger needs to go to Holborn first. Hey, look, there's a blue subway line. He's definitely taking that. Doesn't matter how long the line is, blue is going to get a point. Once he's here, he's then going to go to another one. So I might say, I'll just have him go to Moorgate. He'll ride the subway down here and then savingly walk to Moorgate. But again, he rode the blue line, getting 1 point. But let's say another player had the red line here. then he would go down and move up. He tries to make as few connections as possible, as few changing of the subway lines, and so he'll ride for a long time on one color if that gets him there faster than switching between multiple stops. And that's what you're trying to do in this game. You're trying to build these lines in such a way to get points from connecting to these outside lines or to these middle lines or connecting two of these, or even if you make a complete circle on the board, you get a point for every station that's inside that circle that you've built. But you're also getting points every time the passenger uses your line. Once your turn's over, you'll discard any spots that he's gone to. You'll draw 2 more cards. These are both white, so I would take off these 2 tokens and add 2 more tokens. We got High Street Kensington, which is over here, and Gold Hawk Road, which is over there. And then it's the next person's turn. And we just keep going like this. The game is going to continue until the deck of location cards has run out. So the passenger is going to go to many of the locations on the board. And when that happens, you're simply going to add up your points, and whoever has the most points is the winner. The Berlin map is very similar. Most of the rules are the same. Obviously, you're using a different deck of cards for this map. And you have different kinds of connections. On here you have stations. That's what these plus signs are here. And you get 0 points for the first of those connected to a line. But then you get 2 for the second and third ones connected and 4 for the fourth one connected. So you're trying to connect all 4 of these stations to a line if you want to. There's also landmark tiles. You'll be putting these out randomly at the beginning of the game. There's different types of those. When you connect to those, you'll take one of those. If you ever get a set of all 5 of the different types of landmark tiles, you can turn them in and get 10 points. And at the end of the game, you'll count whatever group you have the most of. So let's say I have 3 of these, then you would get 3 points for each of those. So that would be 9 points. I'm really happy with the components of this game. It's just a really nice, well done version. I love the colorful artwork on the back of these, and you can see they're very similar, but you can tell the difference between the 2 different city decks on them just because of, you know, the famous landmarks on them. And you may not know where a city is. I don't know either city that well. I know London a little bit better, but it shows you on here coordinates where the different cities are, but it also shows you on the map. So where is this city? Well, it shows you it's right there. Boom. I found it. That's pretty easy to do, and so I like the components. I like the map. I like the landmarks in the background. I really like these tokens. They're nice and thick, and there's a lot of color trains on the board, and sorting those out is a bit of a trick before the game, but I can't really complain. I can't think of a better way to do it anyway. It's just fantastic. The whole production here is top notch, and I'm not even talking about the box. And just, I mean, one of the nice things that I like about this game is the inside of the box has this artwork on it. It doesn't matter that much. They just look pretty. It's just a really, really nice looking game. I'm a real big fan of it. As I said, just absolutely gushing over just how pretty this game is. It just looks fantastic. And train games, or subway games in this case, often don't tend to look as nice, but I feel like this one really shines there. I love On the Underground. I've enjoyed it ever since I played it. I think it's a fantastically fun game. Having 2 maps is a nice change of pace. I do like the German map, but I still think I like the London one slightly better. I like forming a loop better, but 6 of one, half dozen the other. It's very minor changes. What's interesting about this game is you have 3 subway lines, and you're slowly building them, and you can build branches off them, but the branch tokens, while they're not hard to get, you sometimes will spend actions to get them, and it feels like that's a waste. So, and also, you want to have a line that goes as far as you possibly can. But you have these 3 different lines. So maybe one of your lines you send to the outskirts to go to those outlier stations just to get points and things. That's very viable. But sometimes the passenger wants to go to those stations, so having that up there. So you want your 3 or 2 or 4, depending on how many routes you have, you want them to work in conjunction with each other. To that end, I very much like this game best with 2 or 3 players. Partially because you have more lines to work with, but also the downtime is down. It works fine with 4. I've not played it with 5, but I won't. I think 4 is kind of like the upper limit for me, but if you want to play with 5, I know people say that they have enjoyed it. But even if you play with 5, you still each have 2 different color lines, and that's really neat. It's just neat to see one of your lines is usually a little bit longer than the other one. Maybe you make one, you want to get to the center of Berlin or London and have stuff there, and then one go to the outs, and you want to get those to work together. You also want to put your lines in such a annoyingly convenient way that other people, even on their turns, are finding themselves using the passengers, being forced to use your lines. That's cool, and it means even on someone else's turn, you're consistently watching the board, watching what they do, and this game is not boring to me at all. I'm just sitting there watching, and as the game goes by, the passenger's forced to walk to places because there's not many lines in the board. And at the beginning, your turns might feel like, well, this seems pretty obvious. He wants to go there, I'll build a line. But sometimes by doing that, you're not thinking about the future, thinking about where the passenger's going to go. Sure, you got 1 point right there, but you're going to want to get that point over and over and over as the game goes by. This is a fantastic game. I'm so pleased to see it reprinted. It offers an experience that not very many other games do. There's a lot of train games, but here you have one passenger moving back and forth, going to various places, and you're trying to build the subway as conveniently as you can. That's thematic. Very fun. I wouldn't mind seeing other cities eventually show up in this line, but even if this is all there is, the 2 maps offers a lot of variety. Highly recommend it on the Underground. Dice Tower Judgment, excellent.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower.